Times of anxiety. I'm caught between making a joke and being absolutely serious. I want to get a point across, but at the same time, it doesn't seem reasonable to me to think that everybody or anybody is going to agree with me. It seems that there's so much perspective going around on social media that it's really kind of hard to get a gauge for maybe the truth, if that's the term that I should use. But it's pretty evident to me the tension that I feel when I'm out in the public. It's like people are looking for that one person to freak out. Because once that one person freaks out, that's when the individual who's observing is going to decide to start freaking out. And for a while, I've been saying to people, whenever the opportunity presents itself, that things, no matter how bad it is, things are good right now. And we should do everything we can to preserve the good. Because once things go bad, it's going to be very challenging to get things back in order. Maybe that's obvious, maybe that's not, but I use it as kind of like when you walk into a retail outlet store and they have several displays that are kind of in your face trying to get your attention to say, hey, look, buy me, when that product is already placed somewhere else. It's been like that for so long, and there's so much like that going on in the world that how is an individual going to pay attention to anything? Like now at this point we have to have selective attention. Maybe this relates to ADD. Disclaimer, I am not an expert in any field. I am just an individual who looks inward, and I try to compare things and find the analogy outward. But I know, like, if there's 10 people yelling at me, if you want my attention, don't yell at me. Because there's already 10 people yelling at me. So if you want me to purchase a product and that product is on display in 2 or 3 places, or there's 50 different items on display throughout the entire outlet, putting balloons on top of it is not going to get my attention. I mean, I might look at it, but I'm pretty sure it's not going to register. It'll be like back in the day when I used to read, and I just read long enough to say that I read it, but afterwards I didn't remember anything, or hardly anything, I should say. But I talk about all of that just because I'm trying to really be perceptive into the reality of the world right now. I don't know how many YouTube videos are being made about this. I don't know. I mean, it's clear on certain other media platforms that this is a discussion being had. I see lots of people offering their opinion of, some people are offering the perspective with hope, and some people are offering a perspective that prophesies a fall, a disintegration maybe. I don't want to be the one to lead into the bad direction, but I also don't want to be the one to make false promises. But what I have to pay attention to right now is that there's a very real possibility that things can go in a less than favorable direction. So what is anybody supposed to do? I mean, you drive up and down the streets and you see that certain places like food is open, but only for you to take out. I mean, however you observe it, I'm pretty sure that, if you are, of regular intelligence and even below that, I mean, it doesn't seem that it's very difficult to see things that can make you very uncomfortable and put fear in your heart. Now, I'm going to try to keep this under 10 minutes. Though I am not perfect, I do not have it figured out. I am not anybody's teacher. I might say something, but I know that I don't have the way for someone to follow me all the way. You may be able to follow me up to a point, but that's about it. But over the years I've been practicing mental, emotional dexterity, if I'm using the proper term. I explore spaces philosophically and in the mind that invoke a wider range of emotional frames of mind that in turn will invoke a wide variety of actions. That may sound vague, that may sound like I'm trying to sound smart, but I think that that's the best way to word it. Being calm, easier said than done, I simply believe is the only option. Even when it's time to not be calm, there must be calmness to think of that point. It must be calculated movement. Because, as I said earlier, things can go south fast. And we do have a good, so I don't want to mess that up. And I don't want to make a decision out of emotion. As the saying goes, don't react with a long-term solution to a short-term problem. And I'm sure I probably worded that wrong, but the basic idea is, think all the way to the end. And again, this isn't really me telling anybody anything because I'm talking to my computer. And if you're listening, if you watch this, thank you. But maybe you won't. Maybe you won't even see this. But, emotional, mental dexterity. Times like these are where true leaders, I believe, are defined. That's simply an observation that I stated out loud. Again, I'm nobody's teacher. I'm not highly educated in any field, but I think it's clear to see that these are the moments for leaders to take the step forward. And if you're not a leader, then just, please step aside. And if you're a follower, it's okay. We help each other. One hand washes the other. You lead for now, I lead later. Then you lead again, and then she leads, and then he leads. And we take turns and we carry each other forward. Calmness.